How to trade the complex pullback. A pullback is by far the easiest way to hop on a trend with a minimal stop loss in order to capture some trend continuation out of a market and create a good risk to reward scenario. You could have an entry reason here, a small stop loss, and a much larger reward. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about the regular pullback, and we're also going to talk about another form of a pullback called the complex pullback. This is when the market's moving up, and instead of trending perfectly, which we all know the market rarely does, we have a situation where the market does something like this. Now, many traders refer to this as the ABCD pattern. And although we're not only going to be talking about symmetrical moves like the ABCD pattern is, but we'll also be talking about all forms of the complex pullback and how we can take advantage of these complex pullbacks in our trading. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button to be alerted whenever we come out with other educational content, along with our Monday market breakdown videos where we discuss our predictions for the top 5 major pairs at the beginning of each week. I'll go ahead and let the intro and disclaimer roll, and then I'll be right back to discuss how we used a complex pullback situation in order to capture some good profits here on the Aussie dollar. Alright guys, so now let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about the complex pullback. But before we do that, just to show you that this trade and analysis was not done in hindsight, and I'm not just sitting here telling you that the market came down and back up and a complex pullback is the reason it pushed up. Instead of doing that, I want to show you guys that we actually placed a trade from this level, and we had a trade from this level in the EAP Training Program. So what I'm going to do is go over to that email analysis. Here's that email analysis, and this was sent out to all EAP Training members, pointing out the fact that we had an entry here on this Aussie dollar 4-hour chart. And if I zoom in on the picture, you can see that the area we are in there is right here. And you can also see that we have our entry set at 0.7822. This email analysis was sent out on January the 9th. So if we go back over to the chart, as you can see right there at our entry, 0.7822. I'll go ahead and circle that. So I just wanted to point that out for you guys because it's going to be a lot easier for you to learn if you trust that someone's actually placing trades based on the knowledge that you're learning. So let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about a complex pullback. And in order to do that, the first thing I want to do is go up here and actually draw out the difference between a regular pullback and a complex pullback. I know we did that a little bit before the intro, but I want to explain it in a little more detail. So a regular pullback would be something like this. We've all heard of a market that comes down into previous structure resistance and that uses that as support. And this is something like a regular trending market would look. Now, when it comes to a complex pullback situation, we have a market that may be trending up, but instead of just coming down and testing that resistance and then going all the way back up like this, we come down, test that resistance, and then maybe have another smaller pullback before a break of that minor support level we just made, and then a continuation of the trend. This is still in an uptrend. The reason this market is still in an uptrend is because we haven't broken below this previous major level of support. So what this is just a complex version of a pullback instead of a simple pullback like this over here. And again, whenever we're talking about ABCD patterns, this would be a good example of an ABCD pattern. What we're actually looking for during an ABCD pattern is a market that's trending in a certain direction, and then that ABCD pattern to form something like this, where we have a move down, a pullback, and then a very similar or exactly the same move down after that pullback. This is what is referred to as an ABCD pattern. It is a symmetrical move in the market that oftentimes can lead to a nice bounce out of price action. So now that we've learned what a complex pullback is and what it might look like, I've taken you guys down to the chart here on the Aussie dollar. See if you can spot the complex pullback that I'm looking at. So we have a market that is obviously in a downtrend. We have now broken through multiple levels of structure looking left, levels of support. And the last time we broke a support level was right here. This was the last swing low that we broke below. So let's zoom the chart in a little bit and take a look at this complex pullback. What we have here is the market pushing down in that downtrend, creating this swing low, having a pullback up, creating that support level, breaking below that support level, and then what? Well then, if it was a regular pullback, it would look something like this, right? Straight up, straight down. But since this is a complex pullback right here, hopefully you were able to spot it. We have that move up, followed by a retracement, followed by a nearly equal move up, giving us a complex pullback and giving us an A, B, C, D pattern. Now, a very important concept when trading complex pullbacks is not just to trade every single time the market makes a move up, has a pullback, and then place a short trade every single time the market gets to an equal measured move. This would be the equal measured move. We're looking at this, copy and pasting this leg of the move, and then having the same exact or equal measured move up. You can't just sell the market every single time that's the case. You will lose money doing that. The reason that this works out well is because we're looking at the predefined trend of the market. As you can see, the market was already in a downtrend. So knowing how to understand and read structure, knowing that this is our previous level of resistance, that if it's not broken, we're still in a downtrend, gives us the opportunity to identify these complex pullbacks. So understanding structure is always first, guys. That's something that you need to understand before attempting to trade or learn any strategies, especially regular pullback strategies or these complex pullback strategies. So as you can see, that working out quite well. Market, after creating this complex pullback, shot down a tremendous amount. So now we'll scroll through the charts and find a couple of other examples of these complex pullbacks. So traders, here's another good example of a complex pullback. See if you can spot it. This one is not an ABCD pattern, but it is still a version of a complex pullback. So did you see the market like this? We have a uptrend coming up, breaking into new highs, creating a new higher low, breaking into a new high. At this exact situation, if you know exactly how to read structure and trend, then you understand that this is a level of support that until broken, the market is still considered in an uptrend. Well, then we get a move down, a move higher, double top situation, and then a push lower. This would be considered a complex pullback. Just as we were talking about earlier, we have the market moving up, and then we have a situation where the market breaks a minor level of structure to the downside, but without breaking the major level of support looking left, and then we get a trend continuation play out of that. So as you can see here, after creating this complex pullback, we did end up getting some buying pressure out of this area coming up into here, and then the market completely shot up. So another example of where a complex pullback worked out in the market. And again, I know all of this is in hindsight, guys, and trading obviously is much easier in hindsight, but you saw at the beginning of the video, and we're also going to take a look at that trade now on the Aussie dollar, and I'm going to show you guys how we used complex pullbacks in order to actually take that trade. So let's head over to that trade now. So here we are on that trade, guys, that we saw email analysis on earlier that we sent out in the EAP Training Program. And what's the last level of resistance that was broken before this complex pullback was created? Well, we definitely have an uptrend here, right? We have a level of resistance here. Market breaks above it, pulls back, creating this higher high, this higher low. The market then breaks above that resistance level, creating this higher high. At this point, considering what we've talked about structure today, what does this mean? Well, this means that this market is in an uptrend until we break below this previous level of support right here at our black line. Considering that, and I'll go ahead and delete some of this to make it easier to see, here's our previous level of support. Until that's broken, we know we're still in an uptrend. This is when we want to trade these complex pullbacks. So what we get, and going back to the question earlier, this was our most previous level of resistance that was broken, was right here. So what we do now is look down at the most previous level of support or the most previous swing low before that level of resistance was broken. And this is that level. That's how we spotted the support level, and that's how we know what the market has to break in order to determine this as reversing in trend. Since the market did not break that level, then we can consider this market still in an uptrend. After that, what happens? After we create this new high, we get a pullback, a retracement, and another pullback, putting us into a complex pullback situation. Now, this trading scenario was even better equipped to put us in a position to win the trade. Reason being because this right here is a previous daily level of structure. Our blue line here is a major level of structure found out on the daily chart. We also have this complex pullback coming in as an ABCD pattern. Push down, push up. If we just clone that leg, you can see that that was nearly an equal move down to our next low. Now, another condition that we had met in order to place this trade. was the market actually went into an oversold situation on the RSI indicator. As you can see right here, we had oversold. We had a bit of divergence coming up here between these two lows. As you can see, the RSI rose up just a tad. So that was 3 different major conditions that we used in order to take advantage of this. And now, guys, you should have all you need in order to go out and start testing complex pullbacks, testing ABCD patterns. And if you like what you see, incorporating them into your trading plan. So guys, if you're someone who has just started trading, or if you are someone who's been trading for a while but is not quite profitable yet and you need a little help creating a trading plan, understanding risk management, understanding how to be disciplined in your trading, or just creating strategies in general, then I've left a link in the description for the EAP Training Program. Feel free to click that link, learn a little more about that program. In that program, we also send out alerts each time we place trades based on that analysis. That way, you can follow along with the trades in order to see the drawdowns that we go through. We do review videos at the end of each week to show you guys the drawdowns we go through, plus the weeks we have new equity highs to keep you inspired, and also to help you through your own drawdowns, as you can watch a professional trader go through that drawdown and come out on the other side profitable. And if you're interested in any of that, it's all included with the EAP Training Program, which is currently 30% off of the lifetime membership. And you can also get discounts for opting in for the quarterly or yearly options. So check that out if you're interested. Make sure that you're subscribed here to be alerted whenever we come out with new educational content, along with our Monday market breakdown videos. And if you want to be the first alerted about those videos and also receive other free training that we don't offer here on YouTube, then make sure to head over to thetradingchannel.net and sign up for our email list. I wish you guys the best of luck in your future trades, and I'll see you on Monday for the weekly market prediction video. Talk to you guys soon.